What's up, everyone on YouTube? This is Mr. Vibnafanio113 using a completely different camera. As you may know, the quality is a tad bit better, but again, not by much. It's pretty good though, so, well, honestly, I don't really care. If anyone is curious to know what camera I'm using, I'm now using my iPod camera, and my iPod is at 20%, and is probably going to die in the middle of this video. We're going to attempt to do something anyway. So, you probably already know what it is by the title, but I'm going to do the whole introduction thing anyway. So I went garage sailing, and when I was at the garage sale, on my way, walking home, yes, I walk home, I found a couple things at a garage sale that I wanted. One thing I wasn't able to get was this whole lot of Atari 2600 stuff. It came with, it was an Atari 2600 that had 4 controllers and 60 games. 11 of which were in the original box, but I wasn't able to buy it because the guy was selling it for 80 bucks. I only had 20. He did have something, though, I was able to buy, and I will get to that last. First off, a couple things I bought at the garage sale was I think it's a Wowie Raptor. If anyone doesn't remember these things used to be really big way back in the day. I think it was like 2000, 2005, somewhere around that time. Wanted one of these so bad when I was younger. My parents just would not buy me one because it was so damn expensive. But this thing was $3, and yes, it works really well. The battery thing on the bottom of it's missing, but besides that, this thing works amazingly, and I'm happy I have it. It's not as amazing as I thought it was back in the day. I also got a Simpsons. I think it's a, yeah, I don't know what kind of LCD game this is, but it's a Simpsons LCD game, and it was $1. And the guy, because of what I'm about to get to, because I bought that, gave me this Mighty Morphin Power Ranger figure for free, because I wanted this. Anyone that doesn't know, I'm trying to build a shrine to all the Red Rangers. I am a huge Power Ranger nut, not as big as I used to be when I was younger, but yeah, I now have a original 1993, I believe it is, Mighty Morphin Power Ranger figure. I also have the 2010 Red Ranger, the anniversary one. But you already know what the video is going to be, so let's just get to the main point. Bam! You probably can't even see it that well. Okay, so this is a Texas Instruments home computer entertainment system. I say entertainment system because that is what Wikipedia calls it, well, as of this video anyway. Now, when I went garage selling and I found this, I had no idea what this thing was, at all. I knew it was a home computer, but because of what it said on the box. But I did not know what kind of computer this was. The only computers I'm familiar with are the Commodores, the Apple computers, and the early Microsoft computers. So I'm not really good with computers, and nor do I feel like collecting this stuff, mainly because, well, computers are so expensive to collect for. I mean, of course, buying a computer by itself, a lot of people do, they can run you so much money, and that is something I just can't afford to pay for. Consoles, on the other hand, in some ways are easier. Of course, you gotta buy the console and the controller, and that's really all you gotta buy. That and the cords, of course, but the games themselves don't run for that much on consoles unless you're looking for really obscure and rare titles, in which case, yeah, they're gonna run you for a lot of money. Computers, you need to buy a lot more. You need to buy the computer itself, which is usually goes for a lot of money, about 500, 600, depending on what computer you're buying. This thing is worth like $100, by the way, and I bought it for $15. And the monitor, which usually I don't have, by the way, for this, but you know, this thing by itself is good enough. The controllers, the adapters, if you want to use it for your TV or something, the expansions, and of course the games. And this thing by itself, yeah, it's okay, I suppose, but like, yeah. I just don't see myself collecting this kind of stuff, you know? And, okay, so instead of blabbering more and more onto it, so let's just get to the point. This is a Texas Instruments home computer, a TI-99 4A. Now, what the hell is that? This computer was released in June 1981. And ran for about $500 when it first came out. Now these computers, like a lot of other computers around that time, were competing against other computers like Commodore and the Amigas and a bunch of other computers around that time. I don't believe Macintosh. I don't really remember when that came out because I don't really know the dates. I just kind of looked this up as the making this video on Wikipedia, so it could be wrong. Who knows? Anyway, this computer, as far as I know, sold fairly well. About 2.8 million PCs. Compared to, you know, Apple's computers and Amigas and Commodores, that's not much, but it was still pretty decently sold. That's even a word. If it isn't, I just made it up. Put it in the dictionary. Anyway, so this computer is it's a pretty decent computer. The specs of the computer: it has a 3 megahertz processor, I believe. It has 16K of RAM and 26K of ROM. I don't really know what the ROM means. I'm assuming that's how much it can hold in cartridge space. Either that or that's the memory. I'm going to assume that's the memory. But, yeah, it's probably the memory. It would also display, if I believe so, 196 by 251 colors on the screen. Not colors, but like, you know, the monitor size. And as far as I know, that's really all you need to know about this computer. So, compared to the other computers from what I've looked up in specs-wise, you could expand it, but like you had to do with all the other computers also. But the parts for this computer, as far as I looked up, are a lot more pricier compared to more other computers. I say this because the parts for this can usually run a lot of money, even back then. And compared to other computers, it was a lot cheaper. And one interesting thing to note about this computer, though, is that this computer actually had someone who actually advertised the computer that actually you might remember even today. You guys remember Bill Cosby, right? Yeah? Well, he actually did the advertising for this computer. This same computer. And he ended up, as far as I know, becoming a kid's, you know, comedian. Kids say the darndest things and, you know, whatever. But he did the advertising for these computers, the TI-99. And that alone is pretty freaking cool. So I'm pretty much giving you a little bit of a background on this. When a lot of people bought these computers, as far as I recall, they mainly bought these computers for programming. It was either they bought it mainly for programming or the games, like most people did. The games on here were decent. It didn't have that many, but for the games it did have, they were fairly okay. War Games was one of them, and they actually made an expansion for this thing, which was considered one of the first PC mics, where you could actually plug it into the side of it, and you could actually talk in the game. It was pretty freaking cool. Even on the back of the box, it actually shows that. Let me just move it over. Right there. I don't know if you can see it, but right there. That's the microphone attachment to it. And it also has, you know, 2 controllers that you can plug into it also, but I don't have the controllers for it. I also don't have any games for this thing either. So, we're just going to have to go ahead here with what we got. So, as you can see, the box is fairly damaged also. I'm just going to go ahead here and show you guys the inside of the box. Now, when I first opened this thing reminded me of like an egg carton. It's kind of funny. Let's go to what is in the sides of it. These things will come out. Here is your TV game switch. As far as I know, this was sold with it in case, because a lot of people, you either have the choice of buying a monitor or you can hook it up to your TV. And this was the TV switch that came with it. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have any TVs that use these prongs. I seriously have no TV that uses these things. And if I do, they don't work, because I actually had a neighbor that I used to have before he moved. He had a Commodore computer, and he let me borrow it. I tried plugging in these things to play some of his games that he had. I think one of them was Virtual Chess, and it would not read on my TV. So I'm assuming that the TV, either the Commodore was the problem or the TV was the problem. Either way, I don't feel like plugging these in the back of my TV again, so I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to try and see if I can find a monitor for this stupid thing. But anyway, it has, I believe, 4 functions. It has a modulator, a TV, antenna, and TV antenna. Some of these, I really don't know the difference. Also has a protection thing on it. I'm assuming the protection, because it says video audio DC sample in, I'm assuming that stands for to keep the this thing from crying or something. I have honestly no idea what that means, but then again, I guess it could have something to do with the whole power adapter running its power through the TV back then. Here's the power adapter for it, by the way. Let's look at it, shall we? Let's see, input. It inputs, let's see here. It inputs 128 AC and 60 Hertz. Outputs at 18.0 VAC, 20.0 VA. So it kind of, I honestly have no idea what I'm talking about here, but, you know, from what I gathered from this, it kind of almost has the exact same type of power supply as really all the other computers almost, including the Sega Genesis, which is pretty cool. So, not running out of time here because my channel isn't able to upload videos longer than 15 minutes, so let's go ahead here and get the egg carton out of the box and show you guys the amazing egg computer thingy. So let's flip this thing around. Let's show. And voila! We have ourselves. Hey, god damn it, stay open. Okay. Stay. Good boy. So we have ourselves a TI-99 4A computer. Wow, that thing just screams 80s. My god. Not that that's a bad thing, because I love things that are from the 80s. Because I find them very fascinating and very interesting and quite entertaining looking. And this thing is no exception. Exception? Yeah, exception. This thing, like a lot of other computers around the time, something I wish, well, sort of wish, that was still implemented in computers today, is the built-in keyboard. Would you just miss that old keyboard click? It's amazing. I love that keyboard click. It's something that we need in our keyboards today. I wish my keyboard made clicking noises like that. Gotta love it. So yeah, a really nice keyboard. Definitely well made. And it's funny, I had this thing tested too, right before I bought it, because the guy plugged it in and everything, and all the keys seemed to work just fine. So, nothing wrong with it. It actually looks like it was barely ever used. I mean, there's barely any fingerprints or anything on it, and this just looks nice. Okay, cartridge input. This was where you, of course, would put all of your games, your computer programming software, and all that junk inside there. And then you have the cooler, or heat, or the vent. The vent. I meant to say the vent. Judge me. But yeah, the vent, which is where the thing would stay cool. Okay, then you also have the back, which is where all your stuff is plugged in. You have your computer monitor hookup, your power input, and your controller input. Also on the side, you have another controller input. I don't understand. I think that this side port is player 1 and this one's player 2, or it's the opposite. I have no idea. That is just weird. Does it say it on the bottom? Does it? No, it does not. Okay, and then on the front, there's the red light. I don't think you can really see that. Yeah, you probably can't see that, but that's the red light. Then on the side, we have our little door. If I can open it. Can I open it? Yes. For the expansion bay. Again, this thing was meant to plug in all sorts of crazy and awesome things. One of which being able to give the thing more memory. Including that microphone thing I was talking to you about. Now, of course, I can't really do a review on this because I'm not good with computers. In fact, I'm horrible with computers. I can never seem to get a computer to last at least more than, I think, 2 years. And I am not even kidding. So, just handling an 80s computer, especially considering I don't even have anything for it, except the computer itself, I think I'm just going to keep this the way it is. Considering it's a computer that's worth $100, and I got it for $15, I don't think I'm going to be getting rid of this thing anytime soon, but I really don't want to collect for it because it's just so much money. I mean, any game cartridge, when I looked it up alone, costed at least around $50 to $60. And for games like that, I really don't want to collect it. I might buy a monitor for it sometime, though, because the educational software stuff really doesn't go for much. It would be nice to get a little bit of an experience on an old computer like this. Because I don't know about you guys, but if any kid is watching this video and you are looking at this and being like, wow, what kind of thing is it? What is that thing? Like, what's this thing? It looks all weird and stuff. Like, my computer's better. Yeah, well, if you don't have any experience with computers back then and you kind of want to get like a feeling of what computers were like back then, like me, I never got a chance to play with computers like these back then because I wasn't born in the 80s. I was born in the mid-90s. So, specifically for that reason, I have never gotten a chance to experience these computers. I'd love to experience these computers. I just don't want to pay for that much for games. Maybe if I ever end up getting that job I mentioned in my update video, maybe I might just start collecting for this thing. But until I end up doing that, this is all I can really do. So that's pretty much my explanation video on the TI-99 4A computer. I hope you enjoyed my look at the TI-99 4A, and I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Mr. Viv Nathaniel 113 of the Gaming Zone. I hope you enjoyed, and remember, if you don't like it, that's your problem. Take care, everyone.